If you take a handful of snow, pack it tight, and give it a push down a long, steep mountain, you know exactly what happens. It doesn't stay small for long. As it rolls, it gathers more snow, getting larger and faster with every single rotation. This works because money isn't just paper, it's potential. A single dollar today is more valuable than that same dollar a year from now, because given enough time, it has the power to grow into something much bigger. To see how that growth happens, let's freeze our snowball and look inside. That hard-packed center, the core you started with, is your principal. This is your own money, the initial amount you put to work. After a few rolls down the hill, a fresh layer of snow sticks to the outside. This is your interest. It's the extra reward the mountain gives you for letting that core roll. Here is where the math gets exciting. Because your snowball has that new layer, it is physically larger. Its surface area has increased. So on the very next rotation, it picks up even more snow than it did the first time. Your interest is now earning its own interest. This is compounding. Money is not a static object. When you invest it, the new growth becomes the engine for future growth, accelerating the entire process. To really see the power of compounding, we need to compare it to a much slower method of growth called simple interest. Simple interest only ever pays you based on your original starting amount. It is like walking down the mountain carrying your snowball and manually packing on one identically sized handful of snow each year. Over a 10-year timeline, an initial $10,000 earning 6% under simple interest provides $600 yearly. It grows in a straight line, finishing at $16,000. With compound interest, your returns generate returns, bending the path upward to $17,900. Simple interest offers a flat, predictable reward. But by letting compounding do the work, you generate nearly $2,000 over that decade, simply by leaving the money alone and letting it roll. That extra $2,000 is nice, but compounding shows its true strength when you stretch out the timeline. Time is actually the most critical ingredient in this equation. Imagine investor A. They start with a very small snowball, perhaps just a few $100s, but they place it at the very top of a massive mountain, giving it 3 or 4 decades to roll. Then we have investor B, who decides to wait 10 years before starting. Realizing they are behind, they bring a much larger snowball, investing thousands of dollars right out of the gate. But because they waited, they have to start halfway down the mountain. When both snowballs reach the bottom, investor A's snowball is exponentially larger. The extra years spent rolling allowed the acceleration of compounding to easily outpace investor B's larger starting cash. The math tells us a very clear rule about building wealth. You do not need to be rich to start investing. You just need a long enough hill to let time do the heavy lifting for you. Now, imagine you are standing at the bottom of that mountain, looking up. That massive snowball is rolling rapidly downhill, straight toward you. In personal finance, this incoming hazard represents high-interest debt, most commonly from credit cards. Compounding plays no favorites. It is a purely mathematical engine that accelerates whatever is in motion. It can build your wealth, or it can multiply your debt. This red line curves so violently because you are being charged interest on the unpaid interest from the previous month. The debt is feeding on itself. This is exactly why making only the minimum payment is a trap. Sending in $20 or $30 often only melts away the new layer of snow, the fresh interest. It leaves the hard core of your original debt untouched, allowing the cycle to continue growing beneath the surface. Surviving the mountain comes down to 2 actions. First, protect yourself by melting down high-interest debt before it gains downward momentum. Second, build your wealth by placing your investments at the top of the hill as early as possible. Compounding is the engine that determines whether you spend your life chasing money or letting money chase you. By simply understanding which direction the snowball is rolling, you can ensure the math is building your future rather than burying it.